Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. This is quite a nice rack, all bingo-y tiles. I don't have a bingo. However, if I play AA, this is a pretty good 5-letter set. And the alternative to AA, I think, is probably changing, but I prefer to play AA because it denies my opponent the double word square in the middle of the board. Pretty good. I have Residua. Hopefully that will play. I don't think Residua has any anagrams. It's a very high probability bingo. So if it did have an anagram, I ought to know it. I'm optimistic that Residua will play. It's hard to imagine a play onto AA which would block everything. So yes, Lari takes an S, so I do have Residua in column 12. And that's quite nice because it stops 2 squares short of the bottom row. So if my opponent hooks the L onto it, he'll be opening up the bottom row. However, is there a better spot? And in particular, do I have a bingo in column 11 through the I? Can't see anything. And anything else wouldn't be as good. So, Residua for 74. Not great. UV again. But that's just the way it goes. I think when you have a combination which is particularly irksome, you tend to notice it whenever you have it, and that creates the impression that you have it more than your opponent. But it's probably not the case, and certainly not the case in the long run. I can't see a 7 with this rack, and I can't see an 8 either. I'll be looking to split up the V and the U, although I may struggle to play both. I've got ovary through the A of residual. £28 points for my opponent, and he's blocked the ovary spot. So what else is available? I think a vouchery is good. That's placing the Y next to the triple word square. Quite tempting given that it gets rid of U and V. But I don't think it's the right thing to do. So what about a play in row H onto the triple word square? Can't see anything there. Just thinking about a play beginning to the left of the I. That would need to be a T or an S. Still not seeing anything. Only my S can go after double A. So I'm looking for anywhere that my V or my Y can score. My opponent's player 4 has really provided nothing. This is a tricky position to be in. I've got a 38-point lead. But I'm going to struggle to build on that. It's tempting to change, but I don't think that's the right thing to do. So what about playing your? I'm splitting up. Well, I don't like keeping 4 consonants, so there must be something better than that. I'm thinking about changing. If I changed UVY, the remaining 4 tiles would be pretty good. But usually when I change, there is something better. I just can't see a way of getting the Y tripled and burning the U or the V. I'm going to change. Not great. I was hoping to draw one vowel. I think this is a more manageable rack than the last one. I've got petty through the E of residua. I can't see a 7-letter bingo with this rack. But it looks like there could be an 8, but I don't think there's an 8 through an R. Now what about double A and AL? Close to portrayals. Okay, opponent scores only 9 points, but he takes out pretty much the only hot spot on the board, which is where I was going to play petty. And if I play in column 14, I'll be opening up column 15. I've got an O for going in front of pen, so I can sort the rack out with Porty. $18 points, not bad. Quite a good rack leave. Can I do any better? And Porty takes an S in front, which I've got. So I quite like this play. But am I missing a 30-point play? I'm not getting my Y or my P on these triple letter squares. 14 minutes on my clock. If I play just Pori, then I'm keeping double T, which I don't want to do. I've got tiptoe on my rack, but there's nowhere great for that. I'm going with Porty. The rack leave is pretty good. That looks promising. Through an E, I would have radiates and dataries and air dates. But is there a 7? Pretty high probability if there is. Diastral onto an L. But almost no floaters on this board. I'm not seeing a 7. Radiators and datarias through an A. Now, what about AL? Taillard's the anagram of diastral. Not seeing anything. Well, it'll be annoying if there's a 7-letter bingo here, but I'm not seeing it. There is already a 7-letter lane for bingos ending in S in column 14, so Porty hasn't created an opening which didn't previously exist. Double A are not a particularly promising 2-letter set, and there are 2 of them on the board. Now, good score for my opponent. He's just 2 points behind me, and he's provided some floaters. Can't see anything with the Z or the H. Or the O, but there could be something there. What about the M? Dramatise without the E. Well, the M looks like it goes well with this rack. But I'm just not seeing a play there. I've got a double-double possibility. Not seeing anything through that. So what about the O, which I previously considered? Just not seeing anything. Well, it'll be a shame if I miss a bingo. This would be a good time to play one. But it's always a good time to play a bingo. Nope, not seeing anything. So I've got to play down from the Z with Zatties. Only 28 points and it burns the S, so I'd like to do better than that. Well, I think Ada does better than that for 37 points and quite a good rack leave. But have I missed a bingo? Well, we'll find out later. Pretty good. I have letters and lettres. That plays in column 14 and row F. And trestle is the third anagram. But that doesn't play in row N, for it doesn't take an E. And letters also plays in row G and lettres, making sals. So I am definitely bingoing this go. And I've currently got a 40-point lead over my opponent. So if my opponent doesn't bingo, I should be able to put some daylight between me and him. So, where to play letters. 74 points for playing in row F. 75 for column 14, but column 14 opens column 15, so I prefer to play in row F. And I think I'm indifferent between playing letters and lettres. Now, also settler and sterlet. And look at that. Sterlet plays in row L, overlapping Aida. Fantastic. Well, I surely am bingoing. But my opponent's taking a while, so he could be about to hit me with a bingo before I get to play mine. He doesn't. 29 points. He's taken out my hotspot for sterlet. I'm just looking to see if I've got an overlapping play. I don't think I do. So, back to plan A. Letters for 74. Now, is this really the best placement and the best word? 11 minutes on my clock, 47 tiles to come. What am I missing? I guess I'm concerned that I'm overlooking a row M play. But I don't think I am. Yeah, it's just a choice. It's just a choice between letters and lettres. E or R underneath this triple word square. Difficult to know which is best. I think it's more likely that there is a high-scoring tile something R than a high-scoring tile something E. But I'm not sure about that. I'm going with letters. And I draw the first blank. And this looks a pretty good rack. And if I'm not bingoing this turn, I could well be bingoing next turn. And I've got an 80-point lead. And there's a bingo lane opening column 14 for bingos ending in S. So things looking pretty good. Now 10 takes an R at the end. R and an S. I don't have either of those. I've got view in column 5. And wived. It would be good, if I'm not bingoing, it will be good to get rid of the V and the W if I can. I can't see anything down column 8 onto the E. Except I can see endive, but that wrecks the rack and retains the W. 33 points. Now, I have something quite nice in row N. I have indue. I have Vinu, even better. Vinu and now for 52 points, and I am retaining the blank. Let's go. Ah, okay, not so great. But I've got a 90-point lead. This is a horrible rack. Dreadful. I was so optimistic when I played Vinue, but BCGII, what a grim pickup. So, how to sort it out? Do I have something? Wow, a bingo from my opponent. He moves into a 1-point lead. So all of the promise of Vinue has evaporated in a few short seconds. I have a dreadful pickup. My opponent exploits the now hook to bingo for 93 points. So completely changes the complexion of the game. So I can play Ghibli for 16 points. Dreadful, but a pretty good rack leave. I've still got my eye on column 14 for bingos ending in S, which is useful to have when you've got the blank. And what Ghibli does is that it opens up new floaters. So if column 14 is taken, I've still got bingo lanes on the board. And that's it in terms of bingo lanes. So I do need to keep the board open. Ghibli takes an S, so 1 S to come. Could be a high-scoring play in row H, but if there is, that'll be 2 new floaters for me. But 16 points, is that really the best I can do? 9 minutes on my clock. Let me have a look for something better. In particular, is there something in column 8? Quite tricky when you've only got 2 eyes by way of vowels. And I can't play parallel to letters. I can't play underneath Vinue. Ghibli plays off 1 eye, plays off the B, it plays off the G, it plays off all the right tiles. It just doesn't score very much. I'm going with Ghibli or Ghibli. 16 points. That is looking a lot better. I have barcode and brocade. I don't have anything with the blank as an S. So what about the I? The G doesn't look promising. Can't see anything with the I. Close to Bacteroid, but that's a 9-letter word. Okay, 42 points for my opponent. He's provided some new floaters. Surely one of those gives me a bingo. Now, what about the L? What about Corbeld? Is that spellable with 1 L? Yes, it is. So I do have a bingo in row A. It's face value. What about a bingo through the O? Can't see anything, and in any event, it will provide access to a triple word square. I'm only 25 points behind, so even a face value bingo is going to put me in front. I think I have broached through that O with double O. But yeah, putting the E underneath the double word square is inviting a 50-point response. So what about the U? That would be a lot less dangerous. Do I have a play with this rack and the blank? This rack through the U? No, not that I can see. So Corbeld it is. Still 1 more blank to come. 63 points. And I draw the blank. Fantastic. Some of the rest of the rack is truly horrible, but it doesn't matter. I pulled the blank out of the bag. So I just need to get going in terms of sorting out Y, U and U. Only 7 tiles left, and look at the remaining tiles. Dreadful. Only 3 vowels out of 13, and the Q. So I've drawn both U's and the I, and avoided the Q. Fantastic. Just 16 points for my opponent, 4 tiles in the bag. So, what I'm inclined to do is play off YU or YUG. I'm happy to retain the U because the Q's in the bag and the bag is vowel dry with no more U's to come. 6 minutes on my clock. So where can I play off? Well, it's staring me in the face right here. Yug for 29. Is there a better spot? Not that I can see. Now, there's still the S to come and the Ghibli hook, so my opponent could come up with Jews and Ghiblis. So the game isn't over yet. I'm only 20 points ahead prior to this play. Yug is going to put me 50 points ahead. That could evaporate with Jews or Jows. But am I going to draw the Q? Yes, and the J. So my opponent doesn't have a huge play in row H. Unfortunately, I don't have a big Q play there. But I'm in reasonable shape unless my opponent bingos, and the remaining tiles actually not too far away from a bingo. And if my opponent does have either a bingo or a high-scoring play in row H, I don't think I'm going to be able to play off the J and the Q. So he could win. Not too many opportunities on this board for the J or the Q. I've got Chi and Chi. Opponent's just gone there. Okay, well that was my spot. He's likely to go out next go. He's got Toges and opens. I'm 30 points ahead. 5 minutes on my clock. I've got QU, which ordinarily is good. But the rest of the rack, not great. Open only takes an S. That doesn't really help me. So I've got Usk with the blank as an S through the U of Yug. 28 points. Probably enough. But can I do better? I've got Quag. 26. Can't see anything through the B. I don't have to play off the Q if I can score well enough with the J. Not too many spots. So at the moment, Usk seems to be best, which is a little bit surprising. I've got Suck and Arse. 25 points. I've got Joe and Wee. 31 points. Might be worth considering. Now, what about Cheese and opens? I'm attracted to this for this reason. 37 points is a good score. I'm taking out my opponent's opportunity of playing Toges. He may have another out, but I haven't seen it yet. So I may be stopping him from going out. 37 points is a big score. 3 minutes on my clock. And keeping the J and the U, I've got Jug. Do I have a second J spot? Should my opponent not go out? Jute. They could both be blocked. I wouldn't want to get stuck with the J. I have Durell through UR, so I'm not going to be stuck with it. My opponent can't score off cheese. I like this play. So, cheese for 37. So I'm 70 points in the lead. But I lose 22 on countback, so my opponent needs to score about 50 with Goist and Toges. And he can do that. He can play Goist and Swine, but it's not going to be enough. Or Toges and Swine, so he certainly is going out. But that's fine, because he's not going to score enough. So, the final score. 371 to my opponent, 404 to me, a winning margin of 33 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first, and I played AA. I don't like these moves here at all. They don't score very much, and they wreck the rack, and AA leaves a pretty hot 5-letter set. Opponent's rack, no bingo. He plays Lari, which is great because I have Residua, and that's where I played it, G12. Opponent plays Fora, and this was where I changed. I thought about a Vouchery. Error of H12. That would have been a better play. That is better than changing. Anyway, I did change. Opponent plays Pen. And Tiptoes E14. Making what? E14 Pent and Ifs. Okay, 35 points. I did 40 for 18, keeping a better rack cleave. Difficult to say which of those plays is better. Or I think Tiptoes is either better or equal. I don't think Porty is a better play than Tiptoes. Opponent plays Zomos. Now, did I miss something here? No, I didn't. Fantastic. I played Aida for 37. That looks fine. Opponent plays Tenny. And that's great because I have letters. And I'm now a bingo ahead. Opponent plays Oxime. And here, everything is looking swimming. Now, I know that I have Vineyard on my rack. I hope that doesn't play anywhere. No, it doesn't. So I play Vinyu for 52, which looked great. And at this point, I was 90 points in the lead with a blank. And suddenly things massively turn around because my opponent has Tardive, which doesn't play anywhere else. And suddenly I'm 1 point behind with a grim rack. And I played Ghibli. Jibed C5. Okay, possibly Icy Blank. Well, look at the difference in scores. So Ghibli was 16 points, so Jibed is only 2 more. Not much between those. Opponent plays Luche, and that's great because I have Corbeld. But what was available was Codetta through the O. Okay, not keen on that, stopping 1 square short of column 15, providing access to this triple word square in 2 different ways. And Broached also provides access to that square, so I like Corbeld. Horrible rack for my opponent, absolutely atrocious. And he plays Funk. And now we're in the pre-end game with just 4 tiles in the bag. I play Yug for 29, I still like that. Opponent is 50 points behind, plays Wine for 15. Yeah, so he had the S, so Wine was setting up a hook that only he could use. Well, he has the S, I have the blank. Now, I thought for a long time about this move, and I think cheese is the play. And finally, opponent goes out with Goes. So, pretty exciting stuff. Great to win, always good to win, and especially when you've had a couple of recent losses. So it's good to get back into the saddle and back to winning ways. And I think this was a good game. I think it was fairly well played by both of us. Not too many horrendous howlers that I can immediately recall to mind. So it was a good, close game, made more so by my opponent's spot of Tardive in the middle of the game, which made things pretty exciting. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.